So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and I wanted to talk about the non-issue, the illusion of Caucasian people becoming a minority in the U.S. by 2050. I believe it is. As usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I'm an ex-Army reservist. I have a couple degrees. I have traveled a number of places like the Grand Canyon, Caracas, Venezuela, Tokyo, Japan, Czech Republic, and so on. And yeah, that's it for me for this time. So, every so often you see this headline that white people are going to become a minority in a certain amount of time. It's 2050, I believe, is what it said. So there will be more, still more white people than anybody else, but at the very least, what will happen is that white people will be the largest minority, I suppose. Now, aside from the fact that that still means that white people will have a huge amount of power in the USA anyway, it does not take into account people who are white, who are Hispanic. It's a peculiarity, it's an oddity. In some ways, it's a prejudice against anyone who is not directly of European heritage, which is odd, but at the same time, it's understandable because I knew people who, there was a lady who spoke about the fact that people, not knowing that she was Hispanic, would talk about Hispanic people in a not too pleasant way in front of her because they didn't realize that that was the case. So, for example, white Cubans who would not have any mixture of any other race, whether it's Native American or black or anything like that, they believe 100%. I mean, there's even a joke that I saw, I think it was from TikTok, where the guy was saying that as soon as Cubans set foot in America, they don't want anybody else to come. They instantly become Republican, and as a result, one of the major talking points of Republicans is immigration and reducing immigration, and they don't want anybody else to come in. And part of the punchline was, your joke was like, "No, my foot is dry. You see, no more people, no more people," and I thought that was pretty hilarious. Um, the fact is, I've even met people like one guy who one parent is of straight European ancestry and his mother is like, from Argentina or something like that. He does not even know how to speak Spanish, as do many white people who are not directly of European origin. So it really is kind of amusing. But yeah, so when 2050 rolls around, if white people feel like excluding people who are not, directly off of Europe, then yeah, you would be able to consider them a minority. But if you don't go that far, especially, there are people like Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen is like Emilio Estevez's brother, or Emilio, was it? I can't remember their father. Is Charlie Sheen Hispanic? I don't think anybody would think that Charlie Sheen is Hispanic. And looking at Emilio Estevez, aside from the name, nobody might consider that he's in any way Hispanic. I think it's Freddie Prinze Jr. as well. Does anybody consider him to be Hispanic? What is J Lo? Aside from her, well, no, not really. I mean, she has songs out in Spanish and so on. So yeah, but there are many, many people hidden in plain sight who are considered to be white and without any further questions, and who consider themselves to be white, as I mentioned. And I think, the delineations, it speaks to some of the things that we see with respect to black people. If someone is biracial, they're biracial. But the old way of looking at that is that they're simply black. Anything that is not of the purity of whiteness is black. And it is really unfortunate that there still remains that idea of what whiteness really is. And that said, I mean, honestly, there's never been anything in place to kind of change that thinking. So I guess it's not really ever going to change. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, dislike, any of the above, the same way that you would want feedback from someone if this were your piece. So have a good one. Thank you.